Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FA Live. My name is Caitlin Brower. I am the Director of Public Relations, Social Media, and Events here at First Advantage, and I'm also your host of FA Live. Today's going to be a really exciting episode. As you can see on the bottom of our screen, we're talking about the future of financial screening, identity innovation, and global readiness. I have a great guest, and maybe I'll embarrass you a little bit, Jeremy, and say that you've been dying to come on FA Live with me. He is so excited and he's finally here. So Jeremy Day is my guest today for FA Live. Jeremy, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for having me on FA Live. A little bit about myself. Been with the organization for 14 years and work specifically in our financial and business services division of First Advantage. And actually, a little interesting side note, I was actually a financial advisor before I worked within the organization, within background screening, so really know the industry well. What I would say during my time in this particular industry of background screening, I've witnessed significant transformations in background screening, as well as my company's approach to client engagement. A major shift occurred approximately 7 years ago, I'd say, when we adopted a vertically aligned model within our organization. And that really fundamentally reshaped our perspective on client experience and their journey. So this shift allowed us to enhance our service delivery and better meet the needs of our clients, really specific to each industry.
We clearly wanted to talk about financial services and background screening today, and clearly we picked the right guy. You've been in financial services and you've been in background screening, so Jeremy knows what he's talking about, but I'm going to let him prove himself to you all, and he will let you know he knows what he's talking about. Before we get into the questions I do have for you, Jeremy, I want to let our audience know, if you're watching live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comment section across all three of these platforms, and I will get them over to Jeremy as I see fit throughout the episode. Let's get right into it. Financial services industry background checks. Jeremy, can you walk us through what makes screening needs unique in financial services?
Sure, and putting a lot of pressure on me there, Caitlin, I gotta say.
Never. I would never do that.
Yeah, so what I would say in the financial services sector, screening needs are really particularly unique due to several critical factors. First and foremost, companies operate in a high-risk, heavily regulated industry, so compliance is absolutely critical. Also, regulatory requirements are very stringent. So such requirements might involve something like fingerprint channeling services with the FBI. You may be doing the same thing within FINRA, who I will say First Advantage is the exclusive channeling partner, or even NMLS, where these are essential for many of these organizations. Screening also extends to really evaluating trust and reputation. It's extremely important within the financial industry, right? So this may include using an identity solution and or looking into maybe a person's social media presence. In addition, what we've seen in addition to pre-employment searches, we're seeing a real rising demand for post-hire monitoring services to help mitigate reputational risks. I would say finally, many screening programs are really global in nature, so this requires compliance under applicable laws in those countries. And as you can imagine, this complexity underscores the importance of a tailored approach to screening within the financial industry.
Let's tap into another area that might be unique to financial services, and that's kind of that shift we're seeing right now from that post-remote world, specifically to that industry. So how are you seeing financial institutions adapt their hiring and screening process right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, there was a big change to remote work during COVID. But as you note, we're really seeing a recent shift back to an in-office work. In fact, many of you out there may be experiencing this trend or have seen this supported in the various articles that highlight the strategies of these major banks within the industry. Even though there has been a shift back into the office, many financial institutions are still having to make significant adaptations to their hiring and screening processes. While many employees are transitioning back to that traditional office model, there remains a strong necessity for remote hiring practices, particularly around interviews and
Mhm.
recruiting. So, in addition to continuing, to be a high demand for that seamless applicant experience, financial institutions are really prioritizing the candidate journey to enhance that engagement and streamline that hiring process so you ensure that you can effectively compete for the best candidate. I would say one key focus for HR professionals in the financial industry is to establish a robust national network of machines for fingerprinting, if that is a
Mhm.
service that is required. We've also seen a major need for identity solution. It's important our customers that
It seems as if we have a little bit of a technical glitch right here with Jeremy. So, if you don't mind, we're just going to take a little second and just wait for him to come back. And we appreciate your patience.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So sorry about that. I don't know what
It's
happened.
okay. Don't apologize. We've been waiting for you to come back, Jeremy. We're ready. We're ready. On our toes. You're good.
I don't. I think I was talking basically about identity. So
Yes.
for the importance of our customers and to that the candidates are actually accurately identified, and that they are who they say they are, really along with key information. So when they provide their social, their date of birth, their legal name, that those are accurate. And I think to me, this has been one of the most significant changes to the financial services industry and probably all industries, especially with the deep fakes that we're hearing about. It's funny, I see these articles all the time, but one that really stood out to me was that a research and advisory firm, Gartner, who's very well known,
Mhm.
noted that 1 in 4 job candidates worldwide will be fake by 2028. And
Yeah.
to me, that is a very concerning number.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been talking about that study from Gartner, for a little bit now within the organization and with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about externally. And I think on FA Live in particular, we've mentioned it a couple of times just because of how eye-opening it is. And we
Mhm.
can't stop telling our audience about that. And it really ties back directly to the products and the services that we are offering to adapt to these current fraud, identity fraud challenges that we're seeing again across multiple industries. So yeah, very eye-opening stat. And it's something again we're gonna keep plugging in as much as we can to go back to everything that we're offering there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So also too, specifically within financial services, integrations and automations. Can you talk a little bit about how this is playing, into improving outcomes for these organizations?
Yeah, so we talked about, the competition and high demand for really good candidates. What I would say is even though there's that high demand and that competition and the talent acquisition teams though, they haven't necessarily grown to meet the additional needs that they're being asked to do. So really they're being told, do more with less.
Mhm.
So with that, automation and process improvements have become extremely important. Um, Things such as a seamless integration between your applicant tracking system or ATS or even your human capital management systems have become really essential for ensuring the ability to audit and scale. So, addition to that, I would say services such as like a client matrix or adjudication tool and risk-based workflows become instrumental, really in streamlining the review process, allows your team to operate efficiently. Um, Implementing something like a predefined process can reduce the reliance on which used to be manual tasks, really, which not only saves you time but also mitigates any potential errors. And then additionally, something like centralized reporting is vital for maintaining that compliance or really management's maybe their understanding of your program. particularly across various branches and regions. When it comes down to it, organizations must find ways to achieve more with less. So by leveraging automation and creating that seamless hiring process, we can alleviate that burden on the talent acquisition teams and really improve the overall ability to meet hiring goals.
Mm-hmm. So you've touched on some things that we're seeing current state, but I actually want to take a step back and go to something that you had mentioned we started about 7 years ago. So I want to talk about our customer support and that industry focused model that we have. So can you please talk about, that structure and how is it going to benefit specifically to the financial institutions?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm really excited about. I was excited 7 years ago, and I'm really just as
Yeah.
excited today. I would say one of the key advantages for First Advantage is our customer success teams, and really anyone within that industry specific team. But their presence of that dedicated team that specializes in the industry, so in this case, financial industry, I'll tell you, those teams possess in-depth knowledge of FINRA regulations and compliance, as well as, let's call it, regulated industry requirements. And it allows them to really effectively speak the language, we'll say, of financial institutions.
Mm-hmm.
So this expertise is crucial in navigating the complexities of the industry and really truly sets us apart from competition. I would say our teams are well versed in the multi-layer approval process that's required for onboarding structures. And then, they operate on a global scale. So this familiarity really enables us to streamline the hiring process, while ensuring that all regulatory standards are met, ultimately providing financial institutions with the support they need to operate efficiently, and compliantly for that matter. What I would say when it comes down to it, we have a deep understanding of the needs, the challenges, the changes that are critical for financial institutions, while providing that consultative support to help design any tailored workflows that might align with our clients' specific requirements. And that collaborative approach really ensures that we can address the unique challenges faced by financial clients and ultimately, enhance their experience and success in navigating the complexities of our compliance teams and talent acquisition.
Yeah, it's really what we offer. It's basically looking into the mirror and seeing yourself and seeing someone that can stand by you and partner with you for that ultimate success. I think of something like, for me and my team, if you think of like a marketing tool, they can't get that granular into industries. They tell you, hey, we can give you some thoughts on business to business or business to consumer, but not really. Let me fine tune into where you're actually. And that data and that insight is so critical, specifically within an industry like background screening, to be able to drill down, because everyone is so different. I think everything that you just listed off is completely different than to when I spoke to the retail team a couple months ago on FA Live, when I spoke to the tech team. We're providing the same support model, but each layer is going to be completely different for whomever your organization is, who you support, and everything like that. So critical, and definitely a differentiator, like you had mentioned.
And they have like clients, right? So the challenges that one company may have could be very similar to this company that's in the same industry, and they may have some ways to solution much faster than someone that might have to jump off a call and jump into another industry, like a healthcare or something that's completely separate.
Absolutely. Moving into the future, talk about some future innovation. How do you see background screening evolving for financial institutions?
Oh, the old crystal ball question.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
If you pulled one out, that would be cool. Maybe I will look to get that as a future prop of FA Live, but it is, you can imagine one, all right?
So good question. I will tell you, I've been here 14 years, like I said. So ultimately, what I would say is I see background screening for financial institutions continuing to evolve really significantly in the coming years. Identity related services are going to remain a major focus. We see these bad actors continuing to infiltrate companies, And that need for identity and kind of a robust screening process is going to continue to intensify.
Mm-hmm.
Regulatory compliance is always going to remain critical areas of focus, especially with financial institutions as they pursue global expansion. So look at like the political and economic climate along with constantly changing environments. It's just going to continue to add another layer of complexity to the landscape they're already dealing with. And I guess one thing that I would say as well is kind of given these dynamics, having a global platform that enables us to conduct searches regardless of where that candidate is located is really a key differentiator for First Advantage. That capability allows us to adapt and scale our services in alignment with our clients' needs and ensures we can support them effectively, as they navigate the evolving challenges that a global background screening program has in the financial sector.
Absolutely. So I do have a final closing question for you, Jeremy, but I am going to pause real quick and let our audience know if you are, again, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you have any final questions for Jeremy, please go ahead and plug them in. But my final closing thought question for you is, all right, we already did our, crystal ball, everything like that, all fun. But what advice would you give to financial institutions that are aiming to modernize their screening?
Oh, so good question. To start, I would say don't settle, right? Ask those tough questions of your provider. Maybe some of the key areas to really focus on. Technology, so like embracing that technology and leveraging the screening technologies and automation to streamline your processes. To me, this is a key area where companies can significantly reduce manual workloads and really allow your team to focus on the more strategic tasks that may be helpful for your organization. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to continue to say it. Identity verification, as identity fraud continues to be a concern, you're going to want to invest in identity validation solutions. So we know the wrong hire can have significant consequences. So ensuring that candidates are who they claim to be is just extremely important for maintaining security and compliance. And it's funny that is something that is such a key part, but it's really what's changed in the industry. We've talked about regulatory, obviously keeping abreast of the regulatory changes and compliance requirements. This knowledge is absolutely essential for adapting screening processes and meeting the evolving standards to avoid any potential pitfalls. We talked about the global approach. Understand whether your current company is able to handle a true global program.
Yeah.
Or are they using a separate company, for those searches? If your institution operates internationally, focus on a company that is also global and can provide maybe a screening platform that's accordingly. This is going to enable you to conduct thorough background checks across the different jurisdictions. It's going to ensure compliance with local laws and regulations. There's always that candidate experience part. A key part of the features, modernizing your screening processes with that candidate experience in mind. So a seamless and efficient applicant process can enhance your employer brand and really attract top talent. And I guess finally, what I'd say is you leverage data analytics to gain insights maybe into your screening processes. So this should be able to help you identify any bottlenecks within the program, improve any kind of decision making, and really enhance the overall effectiveness. So what I would say, really, by taking these steps, the ability that you will have to modernize your screening process, improve compliance, create a more secure environment, that's going to ultimately help your team become more efficient and successful.
Coming off of what you had said around global, we actually do have a question for you coming on LinkedIn. And the individual wants to know, what is the best approach to global then? And what can you suit a company that's all around the globe working internationally?
So what is the best approach? And what was the last part of the question?
Like, are you able to work with the answer is yes, but you can go into more, like suiting a company that is all around the world working internationally.
Yeah, and we talked about that really is the ability to make sure that the company you're working with is global and not just telling you that they're global. We see that all the time within this industry. They tell you they're global and then you realize they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So because somebody has a question outside of US timeframes, obviously, that's they need the answers not within one day. They need the answers as soon as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they get the answers, that they have the success teams available, that they are understanding the compliance and the different jurisdiction local laws are key, because every country is very, very specific in what they need and what is allowed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hope that answered that question there, but we can always follow up if there's a follow-up question. At this time, there are no further questions coming through, but I do know that I asked a ton of questions for you. I do know for that last answer, the one question for me, people were sitting behind the scenes writing everything down that you had said. All of your advice right there, people were definitely getting that down on their notepad because it was a lot of great advice for sure. So with that, I want to thank Jeremy so much for being my guest today. It really was such an informative episode of FA Live. I think you're back, but I think you're a little
I don't know
frozen.
what's happening. It's a
You're
good old
fine.
fashioned live, right? We know it's live because something's
You
going
know, you know it's live. Don't worry. I am a seasoned professional. Been there, done that. So you're back though. I wanted to give you a chance though to say goodbye and thank you to our audience. So I
on.
waited a second.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Obviously we are able to help with any of these background screening needs that might come up for you. I am obviously in the financial and business services, but First Advantages focuses on very key details within all the different industries. So if there's something that you're looking to get answers on or need some help, reach out to us.
Always reach out and keep those conversations going. Ask the hard questions and really how First Advantage can help you. So again, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of FA Live. And thank you to our audience who is tuning in live, but those who are also watching on demand as well. And I will catch you on the next episode. So thank you and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.